Hey YouTube, Jeff Kelly here. I just was sitting around on a Sunday afternoon and thought I'd make a video about how I set up my reloading room and what components I got. Maybe give you some tips on what you might not have thought about as far as what you need. So let's take a look at the Dillon 650 reloader. That's the one I decided to go with. And that was about 1.5 years ago when I first got into reloading, and since then I've loaded about 60,000 handgun rounds. So I've got a little experience on it. I haven't done any rifle rounds other than the, well, I guess you might call it a rifle round, the 5.7 by 28. The FN round, but that's as close as I've gotten on rifles. But as far as handguns, I've loaded an awful lot of handgun rounds. So let's take a look at the Dillon 650. Okay, so here's kind of a look at what the setup is here with the tables and benches that I've chosen. I chose the stack-on bench, ordered that first, and the one with the pegboard in the back. So as you can see, it can hold all kinds of different things you need in the reloading process. I've got all the case gauges here for the different rounds I reload. The Frankfurt Arsenal primer loader. You're going to need these wrenches here for, if nothing else, your powder alarm there, and some other things on the Dillon reloader. Another important thing you're going to need is some needle nose pliers, which are very important when you get a jam from your case feeder down here. Sometimes you'll get a 9mm shell caught inside of a 40 caliber shell that you haven't caught when you're separating them, and it'll jam up the tube. So what you've got to do here, as you can see, you can't pull this tube out because the shell is in there, so you just can't get it out. But what you need to do is, with the needle nose pliers, is grab the shell and lift it up like so, and then pull the plastic tube out. So that makes it easier to do. So needle nose pliers are very important. As you can see, I got the case feeder with it when I ordered it. And I also got the bullet tray, the strong mount. I'm 6'2", so it's nice to be able to look down and see inside your shells and see the powder level that you have. I also got the powder alarm, and of course the primer alarm comes with the machine. I originally got the handle that came with the machine, and I used that for about 40,000 rounds until it started rubbing against the palm of my hand so much in long reloading sessions that I decided to get the roller handle, and that is a really nice addition to the machine because you can just go all day long, your hand never moves, and you're not getting that constant rubbing. I also didn't originally go with the powder alarm for the hopper here, but at one point I loaded about 10 rounds with no powder, and then when I looked up and the powder hopper was empty, I decided to pay the extra $40 and go ahead and get the powder alarm. I think the bullet tray is something that you really need. You just rest your hand here and put bullets on top of your shells, which is really important, and it makes it more convenient. The Allen wrench holder and the Allen wrenches here on the back are pretty important as well, as far as convenience of getting at them. I would certainly recommend that if you got the money, of course. And on eBay they have these little press on to this nut here, so you can adjust your powder flow. It's you just can turn it, as plastic thing. eBay's got those, and they also have these screw-off nuts here. They all come in a kit, so those are more or less convenient, especially for the powder alarm. You can pull that off very easily anytime you want. And then the bins, I like having the bins. You can use them for all sorts of different things, and plus if you're doing a big load, after one fills up, you can pull it off, put on another one, stack them on each other with 150 rounds apiece, and then put them through your case gauges when you get a chance. I also got these inline fabrication, I guess you call them little doors or stops. They just fit right in these grooves in front of the Dillon bins, and holds all your rounds as you're going ahead and loading them. I got the primer tray as well, the flip tray, and then also the Dillon lube and the polish for the tumblers. I might say one tip here on adjusting your decapper and sizing die. You're supposed to adjust it all the way down until you hit the shell plate. Some people have you back it off, 1/8 of a turn, 1/4 of a turn. I like to adjust it tight on the shell plate and then go another 1/4 of a turn tighter. By doing that, it sizes your whole shell, and it also holds the shell plate down very tight, because after speaking with Dillon, they have 15 thousandths tolerance on this shell plate. So if you really want a consistent overall length, the tighter the shell plate is pressed down when you're putting the bullet into the shell casing for overall length, the more consistency you're going to have. So I go 1/4 of a turn tighter. When you're if you need to get a primer out for some reason, you just push the primer forward. You can see how that just pops up and you can pull it out. If you want to advance the primers, you're going to have to pull the arm a little bit towards you, because this just fits in that primer hole. So you got to pull a little bit towards you, and then you can advance the primer wheel very easily. So that's something I learned along the way. It might be obvious to some people, but it wasn't obvious to me. When you're adjusting your powder flow, taking this arm out here and then grabbing your lever and dropping the powder in the tray for the scale. That's the easiest way to do it, and then just dump it back in the top to get the right and proper powder measure. So you just pull this arm off by lifting this, pulling your arm this way and then popping that grommet out. So there's the bench, stack on bench. It's got a drawer. It's got a place, shelf. I keep my primers here. They're easy to get at while you're sitting there loading your rounds. Bullets down here. And then I bought a couple more of these. They only cost about $120 or something for these benches. So you can keep your powder on the shelves and your clean brass and your new brass and whatever else you need. Then I originally bought the CV750, but that wasn't really large enough for my needs. So I got the 2001, which you can just load that up with 1,000 rounds and it polishes them beautifully. And then if you just fire off some light loads, 100 rounds, 200 rounds, and you've still got your machine set up for the particular load that you've been firing at the range, you can just throw them in the small one. So that one worked out fine too for a couple hours, and then run them back through the press and reload the ammunition that way. And then later on, when I decided to load the 5.7 rounds and got the Redding press set up and all the tools, powder measure and trimmer and the Dillon Swager and all that, I decided to get the ultrasonic cleaner for those rounds because they have that special coating on it. So the ultrasonic cleaner works very well on those. And then these are the conversion kits and the die kits for the different setups. In the Dillon book, which is right there, they have in the back, what you need for each caliber, what shell plate, what pins, locator, number one, station one locator, that sort of thing. And you can save some money if you look at that and then, like 45s, you can use, for the 45 ACP, you can use the same shell plate for that, and you can use it for the 460 Roland. You can use it for the 40 Super. Of course, you can use it for the 45 Super. So, you only need one shell plate for that. So if you go through the back of that book and see what you need, you might only need a die set or a couple of plastic pieces instead of a whole conversion kit, and then they're pretty expensive. I got this from Inline Fabrication to hold the primer tubes, and that seems to work out pretty well. And then I picked up this vise at Gun Show. So in case I have to work on any of my slides or sighting, do any of that, that is very helpful. And then one thing you need here as well is these sorting plastic bins. You got one for 45, you got one for 40, you've got one for 9mm. So you can go through a lot of brass pretty quickly. Using those, I would recommend only putting a handful of brass in at a time. It's easier to sort them that way. And you can see this bin full of brass here. I've got some sorting to do. And then over here, I've got some loaded rounds. Of course, you're going to need some ammo boxes as well. And then here are my conversion kits. I don't like adjusting dies every time, so I just like having these quick change conversion kits for the press. And let me see, what else have I got to tell you through my ramblings today? I guess not much else. That's about the evolution of it. If you are deciding on getting a Dillon press, kind of make up your mind on how much stuff you're going to get initially, because Dillon charges you $25 flat shipping, and you can get this press, you can get everything on one ticket for $25 shipping. And if you load it, order it all at once, you can save a lot of money on shipping. I kept thinking of more stuff that I wanted, and it kept more shipping, and more shipping kept building up. And so anyway, that's one tip that might be helpful. So anyway, I think that that's about it for today, and I hope that this was helpful. So if you want to favorite it, share it, subscribe, would be appreciated.